What's going on? Welcome to EdNews.com. It's your host, EJ Carrion, and we're going to end this Friday with a closing bell of what's going on in education. I have three topics, four articles. Two is going to cover kind of the big article, but let's just kind of hit something that I thought were key throughout the country and get ready to go as we finish out the week strong. Let's get to it. All right, so as you see this, what we're looking at here first is yesterday, the U.S. Department of Ed revealed an action to support students' basic needs and mitigate the spread of COVID-19 at colleges and universities. This was big after Miguel Cardona and some of his team of the Department of Ed traveled across the country looking at the needs of students, and it's allowing for students to get support with their basic needs so they can reduce barriers and stay in school. The announcement includes $198 million of American Rescue Plan funds that will primarily support community colleges and other institutions with greatest needs. New guidance on how college can use these new and existing federal funds to meet students' basic needs such as housing, food insecurity, and guidance on how colleges can use existing data to connect students to other federal benefits such as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, and the Affordable Connectivity Program and Federal Communications Commission. There's also making a seamless track of how the usage of completing the FAFSA is important in this process. That's big as now being able to streamline that for services. Another big thing that I thought is happening in the country is in Boston, we're seeing the first ever really child testing for childcare. Let me get to the top of this real quick. It says Massachusetts unveils first in-nation COVID testing initiative for childcare programs. The announcement comes days after the Baker administration signaled new testing options in school. But Massachusetts is big about let's keeping kids in school, providing the right tests to make that happen. On Wednesday, they said that testing for childcare effort centers can receive rapid antigen tests by the week of January 31st, should they choose to do so by January 24th, the administration said. The supplies will allow program staff and children over the age of 2 who are close contact to COVID-infected persons to test daily for 5 consecutive days following exposure. Those individuals will be allowed to remain in care programs as long as they continually test negative. The important to getting the economy back, to be able to keep consistency for parents. That is kind of the focal point in here in Massachusetts. We'll see how others states kind of respond in doing something possibly similar. Now, the big conversation here, which you've probably seen in national news, is around substitute teachers and the National Guard being able to substitute teacher and the state calling their National Guard to help with the substitute teacher shortages. This is something that's happening in places like New Mexico and Oklahoma. What I kind of want to show here is that the governor staff of New Mexico said that 60 districts and charter schools have returned to remote learning, and 75 childcare facilities have either partially or completely closed due to the spread of Omicron COVID variant. Now, the other part here is that this is going to reduce what qualifications are needed for substitute teaching, but I actually think this is extremely smart. And, the National Guard's responsibility is to be there in crisis. And that doesn't have to just deal with natural crisis, whether international crisis of education. Makes a lot of sense to make this a natural thing that as a plan B, C, D to meeting the moment. I'm kind of wanting to dive a little further. Some 16,000 state employees will receive the request Wednesday afternoon. In New Mexico, there are roughly 4,000 members of the Army and National Guard. Again, we'll see how does this work across potentially other states who are dealing with lack of substitute teachers. This kind of goes to the final and I will kind of remove myself here, is that a recent research study in the Morning Consulting Intelligence Committee, they did a recent report. They did a morning consult, Ed Choice, teachers and K-12 Education, a national polling report, December 21st, and they show that teachers are dealing with breakouts of COVID-19. One of five teachers have reported having to quarantine because of COVID-19. So when you think about this substitute shortage, the demand's at an all-time high. Looking at the report, it's talking 35% of private school teachers. So that is interesting as well. But one of five teachers are dealing with this. And so, yeah, as someone in education, even just a part of me, you're thinking about, heck, the best thing we could all be doing right now is being a substitute teacher and helping our local districts dealing with this crisis. It's a pivotal time. I think last week I kind of talked about the system needing to be flexible, but I also think we're just at a really hard time of how do we keep carrying adults in the room, because we see, regardless if it's a teacher, a substitute, a National Guard member, having a consistent place to learn and get support is really important for kids and their educational gains. So that's what we have today on ednews.com. Looking forward to coming back. More consistency. The schedule made it hard for me to provide. EdNews, I did a lot on TikTok this week, and hopefully to do more of that as well. Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.